Now the Mustangs have to be careful that they execute this punt correctly. Coach Knight wants to make sure he's got everybody in the ball game on his first punt team. And this is one of those situations where all those practices of punt and kickoff drills and two-a-days really come into play.
You have to spend your time with the kicking game. In a high school situation, there's so many games that are won or lost right there with the kicking game. One mistake someplace along the line, and the other team just takes advantage of it, and that's where the big plays come from.
I think you can say the kicking game's big in any level of football, be it high school, college, or pro, but particularly on this end.
You're right, Joe. I think I'm looking more that there seems to be more mistakes in the kicking game at the high school level, just because they're younger and there's a chance for some of those.
It's a good snap and a high kick, not very deep. Let's see if it takes a Mustang bounce. It really doesn't. But it'll roll out of bounds at about the 41 or so, down close to the 40. So not a bad kick by Bullard.
No, I'm sure they're very happy with that kick. They did two things. They got down there and got Benton Harbor back over in the negative side of the field, and also none of those fast backs from Benton Harbor got their hands on the ball.
That's right. No run back, so a good kick overall. 40 seconds to play in the first half. Portage Central 13. And Benton Harbor nothing, and Harden will come in at quarterback.
I think now you back up Matt Kopp at free safety and let him play center field. Let him go ahead with 40 seconds and throw a little bit as long as nobody gets behind you.
Marshall is the split end to the top of your picture, and Williams on the post, and the ball is almost intercepted.
There's a situation where the pressure really was put on the quarterback. Eric Munson and also Mark Brewers got in there, put the pressure on him so that when he threw that little short pop pass, it was right in the dirt. Well, it wasn't quite in the dirt. The Mustangs were closer to the ball than any of the Tigers.
Kalinsky doing a good job of reading that formation as they ran the post with Williams and ran their tight end Brewer out in the flat, but Kalinsky was there to knock it down. Harden stays in the game at quarterback and throws over the middle, overthrown to Marshall, and this one's picked off by Kopp. He's down close to the 40-yard line before he's driven out of bounds. Williams over there in on the stop.
We talked about, Joe, just Matt Kopp playing center field, just backing up, waiting for the ball to be thrown, and then going to the ball. The ball being thrown just a little over the receiver, and Matt being right there to pick it off with a full head of steam towards his goal line. And
the mark of a good defensive back is how much ground can you cover when the ball's in the air, and Matt Kopp doing a good job of going to the football.
Boy, that's right.
Portage Central with that fumble early, and now the Tigers, they lost a fumble, and now the interception.
Looking at a timeout for Portage Central. I'm sure that now, being in the plus yardage with 26 seconds to go, they're trying to work out some kind of a what we normally call a 2-minute offense, a quick offense. Throw the passes either to the outside, where if you catch the ball you can get out of bounds, or over the middle, where if you don't catch the ball it's incomplete and you come back, the clock stopped, and you try it again.
And we'll see what Bob Knight calls, and we'll also see if they perhaps go into the hurry-up offense, whether they don't huddle if they complete the play.
With a timeout like that, of course, they could call 2 or 3 plays right there with Coach Knight talking to them, and they could be ready for that hurry-up offense.
So Dan Knight will have it 1st and 10 on the Tiger 40. We'll see what he does. And he'll come straight back and looking for some help. Williams, the short man there, but doesn't really get downfield, and Knight's going to have to eat it. Brewer, the co-captain, making the stop. And timeout for the Mustangs instantly.
We got 17 seconds. I'm sure one of the boys on the field called a timeout. At this point, you may just see Coach Knight decide either one more play or let's run a little bit. Let's eat up that 17 seconds and go into the locker room ahead 13-0. Regroup and come back in the second half with the big lead, and of course all the goose eggs on the Benton Harbor side.
It looked like they wanted to throw the football downfield on that last play, but nobody was open, and then Dan Knight looked to the secondary target, Marty Williams, but Williams wasn't downfield.
No, he didn't move downfield quite as far as maybe Danny thought he was going to at any rate, and then of course with all the time that the defensive line of Benton Harbor had, they finally got to Dan and was able to stop him.
So Coach Knight comes off the field, and Mustangs now facing 2nd and 17 with 17 seconds left to play in the half. Mustangs still have one timeout left. And Knight again to throw. And this time he keeps both backs in to cover. Throws, the ball is tipped. And it's incomplete. And the fans, I think, complaining for interference, but once the ball is tipped, it's a no interference call.
That's exactly right, Joe. Once that ball is touched by either an offensive player, in this case a defensive player, one of the Tigers, that the other people can do anything that they want to in terms of something legal. And, of course, he was just grabbing the receiver. He doesn't know where the ball is going once it's tipped, and it's a perfectly legal play.
And from a defensive back's point of view, that's the best thing to do. As soon as you see that ball tipped, tackle the receiver. Don't let him even have a chance to catch it.
Excellent point, Joe.
3rd and 17 now. Dan Knight will drop back and hand the ball off to Marty Williams, and that doesn't fool Benton Harbor as he's stopped for no gain. And that's the last play of the first half. So our score at halftime, Portage Central 13 and Benton Harbor nothing. And I think Jeff Vine, number 82, with his hand in the air, and Matt Kopp, number 11, the man you see kneeling next to the football. Benton Harbor will receive and defend the south goal. This time Vine drills it on the ground. It's fielded on about the 20-yard line by Benton Harbor's Lewis Williams, and he's stopped at the 30.
Kind of what you'd call an in-between kick. It went down there quite a ways, and yet it was one of those bouncies, one of those hard things to try to pick up. Maybe exactly what the Mustangs would like, so that the speed of Benton Harbor doesn't come into the picture. They get time to get somebody down there to cover, which they did real well. And in fact, I think all year, Joe, this is about the best that they've gotten the ball down there on the 30-yard line or the 31-yard line to start off.
And we'll see how Benton Harbor starts it. 1st and 10 from their own 30. They've got Marshall split wide right and Williams left, and the quarterback is Whitehead, and he keeps it, tries to throw, and it's knocked away by Buller as heavy pressure was put on the Benton Harbor quarterback.
Boy, he certainly didn't fool Darren Canerva on that naked bootleg. He made the two fakes inside and started to pull out the outside, and Darren did just what the coaches want. He stayed home. He was right there, so that when Corey Whitehead pulled out there, he was all over him, and of course he had to just barely throw the ball or try to throw the ball, and it was broken up.
Mustangs doing a good job starting defensively. We'll give you their starting lineup as we can. 2nd down and 10 on that incomplete pass. And Whitehead stays in the game, puts it up again, and this time he's got his receiver. It's the tight end across the way. We'll see when he gets up. That's 86. We haven't called his number yet tonight. Leo Luckett, 6'1", 220-pound senior.
Where that pop pass still seems to be there for Benton Harbor. Wondering if Coach Knight's going to get into a little bit more of that defensive end on either side, trying to hold up that tight end a little bit. Do not let him have that arc release where he gets into that little, what we call a soft spot where nobody's covering.
Yeah, you got to bang him as he comes off the line. This time Whitehead keeps it, cuts it back up the field, still on his feet, and down close to the 50-yard line before he's brought down by a host of Mustangs.
Strong run by Corey Whitehead. He made that cut up the field. There wasn't anything right in front of him, so he cut back against the grain, and then, of course, he did a lot of that running with people hanging all over him.
And just about when I was going to say, it looks like they're going to stick with Whitehead, in comes Harden, as they'll, at least for the start of the third quarter, continue to shuttle their quarterbacks in and out on 2nd and 2 now. Ball on the Benton Harbor 49. And the ball goes to Bates, and he has his first really successful gain of the evening. Up across the 45, he's got the first down before Kalinske makes the tackle.
Benton Harbor's mixing their plays up right now. They're catching the Mustangs a little on their heels. When they think they're going to pass, they run that little quick run like that they got the good yardage. They throw that pop pass. They're moving the ball right now, Joe.
They certainly are. This drive started on their own 30. They're now up to the Mustang 45. Whitehead again on the quarterback handoff, and this time Chris Carr takes it, and he's got a couple. Whitehead falling down after he made that handoff.
It's another good gain on first down. When you say a couple, it's almost 6, Joe. With the quickness of those backs, what looks like 2 or 3 ends up being 6.
And Chris Carr last week, 134 yards on 24 carries, so he can carry the football effectively. 2nd and 5, they gave him 5. Harden now the quarterback. And he'll keep it on the ground and give it to Bates. A nice move, a spin move, as he spun away from the pressure inside and got down to the 30, close to another first down. And they gave him the first down. Buller in on the stop.
Well, Benton Harbor's doing exactly what they'd like to do early in this second half, and of course what Portage Central would like them not to do, and that is that they're moving the ball, they're moving it effectively, they're mixing up the plays, and they've got quite a drive going.
First and 10, Benton Harbor on the Mustang 30. Whitehead on the option, and nowhere to go. Mark Brewers and Kalinsky. Big hit.
Well, again, that's just a situation where both those backs stay right at home. When the when the quarterback makes a pitch, there's no place to go. That's a big play because we're talking a loss of almost 7 or 8 yards, and puts them back in a hole, gets them outside that 35-yard line, and now they've got to think either pass or the long run to get that game back. And
part of the problem, I think, is that the pitch relationship between the tailback and the quarterback not very good on that play, and one man could basically cover 2 people, but Benton Harbor goes to the air, tries to get the first down through the pass, but incomplete.
Back to that pop pass again, or that little quick release pass on that tight end, and this time Kalinsky was right there. He mixed it up, he got his arm across there, made enough confusion in the play so that there couldn't be a reception. An excellent job by Kalinsky.
3rd and 18, big play for Benton Harbor on the opening drive of the second half. They got as far as the Mustang 30, but a sack and an incomplete pass have backed them up. And they'll roll right, and Brewers just misses, making a great play, and the ball banging around down there, but incomplete as Barton and Williams ran into each other, but no penalty flag.
Lots of pressure again on Corey Whitehead. I thought he threw the ball excellently for running away from everybody with people hanging all over him. It was one of those situations where he's going to throw it and hope the receiver can run underneath it. Had the double coverage, a lot of people right there, and it just was a situation where they stopped him.
Now the officials now telling us that there was an illegal offensive lineman downfield on that pass play. And we'll see if Portage Central elects to take it or decline. If they decline, it'll be 4th and 18. If they take it, it'll back them up, 10 yards?
It should be 15, I believe, 15? Joe, in that situation. If they take it, looks like they're taking it. So.
Looks like they're taking it. Well, there's 5 yards. We're both wrong.
Well, we can't hit them all, I guess.
It'll bring
but it's a loss of down, Joe.
There we
go. So no wonder they took it right away, and they move them back. Actually, there's not much of a discussion in that situation. The best thing, of course, is to move them back and take the down, too.
So the successful drive of Benton Harbor stops. They're forced to punt. Another good punt. And the Mustangs are going to let this one roll and hope it gets in the end zone. It does, but we've got a penalty flag. Possibly a hold, perhaps, on the Mustangs trying to block and keep the Tigers from getting down and stopping that football from going in the end zone.
Could very well be, Joe. They're going to do some blocking on the way down there after, of course, the initial signal for the fair catch, and maybe they hung on a little bit, make sure that nobody gets down there and tries to down the ball inside the 5.
Well, Terry Martin put up his hand like he was going to call the fair catch, but obviously a decoy has let the ball go over his head, and it did roll into the end zone, but we do have that penalty. Officials discussing things. There's Big Doug Roberts, 77, the towering above everybody in the background there. He's the Mustang tri-captain.
Most of the discussion, as you can see, though, is with the Benton Harbor player.
And I think that's probably Bergen. It is, 61, the linebacker. He's the co-captain of the Tigers.
Joe, there may be a situation there why the discussion went so long is because there was really no exchange of possession.
Don't really know what that penalty was. The official made some sort of an indication against Portage Central, but they'll keep the football.
Right, and it looked like he indicated it was declined too.
Maybe they picked up the flag and there was no penalty at all. What do you think?
Could very well.